Hello everybody and welcome back to Camel Kingdom, Planet Coaster, Arabian themed area. Damn, that's a long name, isn't it? Well, we are in the next episode. We are slowly getting to finalizing or to finishing off the entire area. And yet again, nope, it has happened again. For a very long time I haven't had it. But I lost some huge progress. I was so optimistic in the past videos, but then again it happened. The game crashed and I lost about, well, let's say 2.5 hours of work, because even the autosaves were broken. Yeah, it's a pity, but meanwhile I have already recreated everything, so I would also say I recreated it in a better way. So never mind, it's, you know, it was worth the redo, and now we are already theming the rest of the coaster, and I would say maybe we have 1 or maybe 2 more episodes, and then you get the final video of this area, including the POV of the Darkride and the coaster itself, obviously, and yeah, just a nice cinematic video. So I'm hoping to be finished with this area by end of January, so we can go into February with a whole new project, which will be a medieval one, as you guys already voted on Twitter. But yeah, I think most of you already know it. If not, there you go, you know it. Talking about this episode, it's a really special one in that kind of sense, what I'm building, because I've never ever built something like that in this game or in another game. I am just very inspired by Anno. I don't know who of you have played Anno 1404. For me, it's still the best Anno game out there. Is obviously playing in the 15th or just very early 15th century, where you are going to have a major exchange in goods and also negotiations with the Orient. And in the Orient, you can also build your towns. And what you need to build, first of all, are Norias. They're called Noria. Is this even a word in English? Let me just quickly check, because I am not too familiar with the Arabian words in English. I don't really know. Wait, is it even a word? Noria? Oh yeah, no. This is okay. Interesting. Let me just quickly check. Oh, it's a Spanish word. Okay, this is interesting. Well, okay, Noria means in Spanish, or maybe then also Arabian, I guess, a Ferris wheel or water wheel. Obviously, what we are going to talk about is the agricultural use of it, which is then a water wheel. Oh, I can't really read that out. La Noria recoge agua del río y la deposita en un acueducto. That was terrible, I believe. Aspirately, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, no, just back to the point. I am building this Noria over here, which, you know, just delivers water to very dried out areas, and it gathers from a little river or a water source in general, and provides you with a mechanical energy or mechanical power, so to say, and obviously water. And I thought to theme the lift hill of this coaster, that would be an amazing idea. So this is the very first time I reveal the entire story of this Darkride. So it is a little bit difficult to explain. Hopefully you understand this, and hopefully afterward the ride can also transport it. So the idea about this Arabian area is like, this is a really nice place which has been created of a really dried out and not very healthy area of the desert. But then there came a big power source in after, you know, surviving terrible nights of sandstorms and so on. But after a lot of good negotiations and also learning a lot about modern agricultural ways, the people living in this little town learned how to deal with the very unfortunate environmental circumstances, and they created a power that delivered them the possibility to gain water and make a really nice and you know, greenish kind of oasis out of it. So in the end, the coaster represents the force that is driving the wheel of water and the wheel of life, so to say, in this area. Imagine you are just going into this dark ride. The first room contains a very you know, royal kind of little house. This might be located in another big city of the Arabian areas where already really rich people live, but they just won't help. But then a little troop of people decided to move out, and this is then the second room with the little desert area with the other temple in the middle. This is exactly what this represents. They left the safe harbor of this big kingdom. As you see, the little temple I built with the little pieces represents the big and rich city, which they did leave to find something new. And they had to go to very, very different conditions, and this is what the room of movement represents. Like, the room of movement shows how much pressure they had to survive and how much different environmental circumstances they had to go through, and the power of this room is somehow resembling the power what the guys who were going to find a new space or a new place for them had to go through. And yet again they found a new little harbor, which then obviously the last room is representing, where they wanted to create a new home, which they did with their own camels and their little people that came with them. And so they started to grow some new you know, contract with other cities to deal with goods and make this place a better place. And once you go outside the dark ride, this is what exactly happens. It grows. Like, you go up the lift hill, and this is where the force is being collected. The Noria, which has been built to collect the water and to make the water flow, brings you up to the very highest position, and from there you are released into a better world. And this is resembled by the coaster, which is a little bit up and down, you know, a little bit wavy, but this is how it's always going faster, and it is in a flow. So that's where the city or the little temple area developed in a way. And this is what the coaster itself shows. Like, going down into the coaster segment of this ride, you really feel the power of this little city, little town you are in. And this is also the story which will be explained to you in the queue area. And I imagine that being told with a very mystique voice of an Arabian speaking person, and also obviously in English with an Arabian accent to its voice, but it's a very old and wise man explaining this to you. And once he experienced that, he was very young and passionate, and he wanted to go out and deliver and develop and to just explore this world around him. And he was, you know, despite all difficulties around him and the environmental threats, he made it with his friends to create this very new area. And this is what the coaster then shows you, how much power and how much will was just within them. And it is released by this coaster, and it leads you through the entire little city with this coaster until the final splashdown, which then again shows, yeah, basically what also those men or this group of people experienced after a lot of up and downs and a lot of force. They just came home. They found a place to stay. They basically splashed down because they were going at high speed, but all of a sudden they broke, no, not broke, they break down and settled. And this is what happens in the splashdown as well. You just find a place where you wanted to stay. And this is what the Arabian area is all about. This is the tale of Mebat al-Khamal, the little al-Jamal, which is the name of this Arabian area. So I hope you understood a little bit the story behind this whole area. And it was a lot of fun to create the story beforehand and try to create a theme park experience around that in general. And I hope that you guys also can understand the passion and the ideas that went into it. But yeah, now after a very long talk about the back story of this area, we are now going into some development of new pieces. And honestly, thanks again to the adventure pack. And by the way, in brackets, if you still want to win a DLC code, just go back to my other video of yesterday's Our Coaster, go down to the description, there's a link and you can win a DLC code. Simple as that. Back to the story. We are developing some new onion roofs, and thanks to the brilliant use of the new pieces from the adventure pack, we can create even better little onion roofs than we had been able to before. Also the colors and the overall texture is just working even better. There was this very small moment when I was building this where I actually thought of redoing all the roofs with the new pieces, because I have the feeling that I would save a million of pieces. It's not, you know, the idea has not passed away entirely, I have to say. I'm very split. I regained the love of this area. I really feel the love again, and I want to go on building. I know I said a few weeks ago that I'm tired of this area, but I'm not. Like I was, but I'm not now. It's been better, and I found my love back, so to say. And yeah, I could imagine to go on, but this kind of work, I mean, to redo the roofs, just for the sake of saving pieces, is maybe a necessary work to go on in this park, but also work which I'm not looking forward to. So yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I know that it would be maybe a clever move. Potentially I'm gonna try that with one roof first and see how many pieces I can really save. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's all down to if I want to do it, and if this is, you know, somehow brought together with my time management, which I'm not quite sure about. But yeah, so now the last thing I'm going to do here is I am creating the support of the wheel. And now, you know, there's one thing I really want to say about this once the episode's already ended. And before going, I'm just putting in some screenshots now, because one thing I wanted to say about this last part is I really need to make this a little bit higher than it usually would be, so the wheel is not tied to it how it would supposed to be tied to it to make the coaster go through. Basically, that's the reason for it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If so, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment down in the comment section below, and also subscribe for more, because more is always better than less. And yeah, hope to see you again in the next video. Until then, bye bye guys.